The 29 Best Anime Villains of All Time. Every anime needs a powerful, well-written villain with a unique philosophy to stand out among the rest. Anime villains have evolved to be more interesting and complex, with realistic motives and approaches to life. Characters like Itachi Uchiha, Sukuna, and Blackbeard stand out as some of the best anime villains to date. With a significant increase in the number of anime produced over the years, it has become even more important to go through the details before starting a new anime. One of the cornerstones of a good anime is a well-written villain, who is not just powerful but has a certain philosophy. The roles of villains in a series have been overlooked, but they're just as important as the protagonists. There are tons of anime, but not all of them have eye-catching villains. However, there are a handful of villains that have withstood the test of time and are hailed as the very best to date. 29. Itachi Uchiha. Itachi Uchiha is a great example of what could have been. He was an extremely talented ninja who had the potential to surpass all the greatest ninjas. Sadly, he had an incurable illness, which prevented him from doing so. For the majority of the story, fans were under the impression that Itachi was evil, and he was on track to becoming one of the greatest anime villains until Kishimoto decided to redeem him. While he may not be considered a villain anymore, Itachi's performance as one right until his death cannot be overlooked. He was intelligent, had outrageous abilities, and had some of the coolest moments in anime history. 28. Sukuna. In the early stages of the manga, it was established that Sukuna was a dangerous person. However, it took a while for fans to see his true power. He possessed insanely powerful abilities, which helped him to beat the likes of Mahiruga, Jogo, Gojo, etc. Sukuna is apathetic and he has no morality whatsoever. He has killed people without any reason, just to please himself. While he has yet to be taken down, Sukuna has already made a case for being one of the best anime villains of all time. 27. Blackbeard. Blackbeard is one of the strongest characters in One Piece. He has access to 2 different devil fruits, both of which are extremely powerful. One of them allows him to nullify the powers of other devil fruits, giving him a significant advantage in all the fights. The second devil fruit helps him create tremors that can flatten a town in next to no time. While his powers are outstanding, Blackbeard's greatest quality is his intelligence. He is a cunning person who plans his every move carefully. This increases his chances of success drastically. Blackbeard has yet to get fully involved in the story, but when he does, fans can expect him to jump up the list. 26. Goku Black. Goku Black serves as the main villain of the future Trunks saga in Dragon Ball Super. He is a rather interesting villain and one of the better things about the series. Goku Black was an intelligent individual with megalomania. He did not take kindly to mortals, mainly because he was jealous of them to a certain extent. When it comes to strength, Goku Black is not to be trifled with. He could crush most of his opponents with ease, and things only got worse when he fused with Zamasu. Due to his overwhelming power, Zeno had to step in and get rid of Goku Black once and for all. 25. Funny Valentine. Funny Valentine is the primary villain of Steel Ball Run. He was the president of the United States, and he wanted to make the country a superpower. To achieve this goal, Funny Valentine was willing to go to any length, even if it meant killing innocent people. He wanted the saint's corpse at all costs, which is why he kept sending his henchmen to kill Gyro Zeppeli and Johnny Joe Star. Funny Valentine was successful in getting rid of Gyro, but Johnny proved to be too much for him. When he realized that it wasn't going to be possible for him to defeat Johnny, Valentine used his stand to go to alternate dimensions to find an ally to help him. He used his intelligence to keep Johnny busy while it happened. His overall involvement in the story, along with his insanely powerful stand, makes Funny Valentine a candidate for the best anime villain. 24. Boros. Boros is the main antagonist of the first season of One Punch Man. He was an alien who had accumulated an immense amount of power, and he went from one place to another to find suitable challengers. During his quest, Boros destroyed multiple planets, resulting in the deaths of millions of people. Ultimately, he landed on Earth, where he fought Saitama. The fight was absolutely incredible, and the bald hero had to struggle quite a bit. Boris had a cool character design, which made him stand out from the other villains in the series. Aside from that, Boris was also suffering from the same problem as Saitama, but he went about it in the wrong way. Saitama acknowledged his strength, and there was definitely a great deal of respect between the two. 23. Mahito. Mahito is among the main antagonists of Jujutsu Kaisen. He is an evil individual through and through. Mahito does not care about the consequences of his actions, and he has used his powers to cause harm to the people around him. If it weren't for the sorcerers, he would have caused chaos throughout the world. Mahito may not be the smartest villain, but he is still an impressive fighter. He was able to fight against Nanami without any problems, which is a major testament to his skills. He has a variety of techniques in his arsenal, making him a deadly foe. Mahito brings pure evil to the table, which separates him from the rest of the villains in the anime industry. 22. Kiryu Setsuna. Kiryu Setsuna dedicated his entire life to looking for an opportunity to slay Takeda Ama. Ever since he laid his eyes on the hero, all he wanted to do was end Ama's life with his own hands. Kiryu Setsuna was extremely possessive toward Ama, and oddly, he went to great lengths to ensure that no harm came to him. He was a talented fighter in his own right, and he would have achieved great things if not for his obsession with Ama. Kiryu Setsuna's character perfectly highlighted the struggle of an individual who lost all sense of morality in his pursuit of Ama. 21. Takesugi. Takesugi used to be a friend of Jintaki's, but after the Amanto invasion, he took a drastically different path from his comrade. He became the leader of an extremist Zhui faction with the sole purpose of destroying the world. He was motivated to do so after losing his teacher. Takesugi was ruthless, and his approach led to many deaths. Despite his malevolent nature, Takesugi was respected by his underlings. His charisma played a key role in his success as the leader of one of the most powerful factions in the series. When it comes to swordsmanship, he is one of the best in Gintama. He is capable of taking entire platoons of soldiers with just his blade. 20. Suzuki Toitro. Suzuki is one of the main antagonists in Mob Psycho 100. He was the founder of Claw, an organization filled with powerful espers who worked towards Suzuki's goal of world dominance. Suzuki was a cunning individual, and he knew how to make the best of every situation. When it came to psychic powers, Suzuki was on a different level from most individuals. He used his body to accumulate psychic energy for decades, only releasing it once he initiated his plan to take over the world. Suzuki's power was so overwhelming that even Mob couldn't stop him. Fortunately for Mob, Suzuki couldn't handle his own power, which led to his demise. 19. Esteith. Esteith is a popular anime villain who hails from the Akame ga Kill franchise. Contrary to how most female characters are portrayed in anime, Esteith was handled in a much better way. She was a well-written character with a good backstory. She was extremely manipulative and could easily sway weak-willed individuals with her articulate speeches. Esteith was also a sadistic individual who would go to great lengths to put her opponent through a world of pain. She was ridiculously good at fighting, and it earned her the reputation of being the best soldier in the entire world. 18. Isabella. Isabella is quite different from some of the other great anime villains in that she does not have any supernatural abilities, yet she instills fear in the hearts of viewers. She was an ordinary human being trying to survive in a world full of demons. Isabella worked as the mama for Gracefield Houseplant 3 to ensure that the demons wouldn't kill her. She used her guile to keep the kids in check and ensure that they would never find out about their gruesome fate. Isabella's intelligence also enabled her to foil the children's escape plans time and time again. Emma, Norman, and Ray had to work hard in order to outfox Isabella. 17. All for One. In My Hero Academia, some humans have superpowers called quirks. Izuku Midoriya is not one of them. Biku has always idolized heroes like the #1 hero, All Might, and he has always wanted to be a hero. However, his lack of a quirk has always held him back, but a chance encounter with All Might after discovering a classmate in danger sets Deku on the path to becoming a true hero. My Hero Academia centers around Deku and a class of heroes in training at UA. This school shapes young quirk users into future heroes through fake rescue missions, combat training, and other hero-tempering tasks. With young Deku inheriting the one-for-all quirk, he will learn what it means to be a true hero while facing off with dastardly supervillains. All for One is one of the better antagonists in My Hero Academia. He has single-handedly caused many problems for the heroes in Japan. All for One used to be the strongest villain in the country, and he used to compete with All Might. But once he found his powers dwindling, All for One decided to make others do his bidding. He created the League of Villains and took Tamura Shigaraki under his wing. All for One molded Shigaraki into the person that he wanted him to be. All for One is among the few villains who have both intelligence and strength, making him a truly threatening individual. 16. Ren Yeager. At the beginning of the series, Ren Yeager was nothing more than an innocent boy who wanted to protect the people dear to him. As the story progressed though, Ren's way of thinking drastically changed, and he became a malevolent individual. After gaining the power of the founding Titan, Ren decided to launch a full-out attack on the rest of the world. Ren's actions led to large-scale destruction in which more than half the human population was wiped out. The series extensively covers Ren's transformation, making him one of the best anime villains of all time. 15. Frieza. To say that Frieza is evil would be a bit of an understatement. He is the main villain of the Dragon Ball series, and Goku's biggest nemesis. He's made appearances in the other parts as well. Frieza's army was known for its ruthlessness, and the stories about their brutality are known throughout the universe. He is extremely manipulative, and he tends to mock his opponents with his dark sense of humor. Unlike many villains though, Frieza is an eloquent speaker, which helps him to hide his sadistic nature. 14. The Major. The Major served under Hitler in the SS, which says a lot about him as a person. He was assigned by Hitler to create artificial vampires that could be used in World War II. The Major thrived on chaos and war, and so he did everything in his power to send the world into darkness. Over the years, the Major's plans changed, and instead of just creating an army of vampires, he decided to start a war that would engulf the entire world. Also, he was fixated on Alucard, and wanted to eliminate the vampire by any means necessary. 13. Mizan Kibatsuji. Mizan is the main antagonist of Demon's Lair, and, together with his demons, has been responsible for countless deaths. Mizan is a very strong character, who can beat the most powerful Hashira without any problems. His blood also allows him to turn humans into demons, who then go on to do his bidding. Mizan is a heartless individual, who has no regard whatsoever for the lives of humans or even his subordinates. He sees them as disposable trash, and, on several occasions, Mizan has even murdered his own underlings to make a point. 12. Shogo Mikishima. Shogo Mikishima is famously known for being very manipulative, and with his ability to persuade people, Shogo has led countless people to their graves. One of the things that makes Shogo such an effective villain is that he doesn't have any sort of compassion and, on countless occasions, has shown that he is willing to dispose of anyone who dares to oppose him. In some cases, that also extends to people that he grows tired of too. 11. Envy. As the name states, Envy is jealous of the people around him. He is a homunculus who thrives off the misery of humans. Envy is cruel, and he feels no remorse for his actions. He boasted about starting the Ishvalan Civil War, which resulted in the deaths of countless people, and this shows that he really doesn't care about the consequences of his actions. The root cause of Envy's hatred towards mankind is that he is jealous of their ability to work together, and so he tries everything he can to mess up their lives. Envy's ability to shift shapes makes him a very dangerous villain, and allows him to start trouble much more easily than the average bad guy. 10. Nagato Uzumaki. Naruto is a riveting story about a knucklehead ninja of the same name, who dreams of becoming the Hokage one day. Naruto's path to success was hindered by many villains, but only one of them left a significant mark on Naruto, and that villain was none other than Nagato Uzumaki, who was the leader of Akatsuki. Nagato was too weak to use his original body, so he used the bodies of dead people to fight against his opponent. Being a student of Jiraiya, Nagato learned a lot of things from him, and they were responsible for molding his character. Nagato was powerful and had certain ideas that he really believed in. 9. Yagami Light. Yagami Light is one of the most well-known names in the anime world, thanks to Death Note. A high school genius, Light's world was turned upside down when he picked up the Death Note that fell on the earth. After deliberating for a while, Light reached the conclusion where he decided that he would rid the world of criminals. However, Light turned into a criminal who murdered innocent people. He took up the name of Kira and went on a murdering spree until Near and Mello put a halt to his progress. 8. Griffith. Griffith is the leader of the reborn band of Hawk in Berserk. At a certain point in the story, Griffith was adored by all the members of the original band of Hawk. After being on the verge of death, Griffith triggered the eclipse, which resulted in the deaths of almost all the members of the original group. Reborn as Famto, he raised a new army that is filled with powerful apostles, who could raise entire cities to the ground. Griffith prioritized his dream above everything, his friends, his morals, which made him truly frightening. 7. Johann Liebert. Arguably the best villain in anime history, Johann Liebert is the antagonist of Naoki Urasawa's monster. Johann's enigma and his ridiculous charisma put him at the very top of the villain rankings. He didn't have any superpowers, only his incredible mind with which he was able to wreak havoc. Johann terrorized an entire city's population, and he felt absolutely no remorse. This separates him from the rest of the anime villains, who require unique powers to make their mark. 6. Dio. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has always given the viewers some memorable characters. Among those characters, the most iconic was Dio. He was a nuisance to the Joestar family for several decades. Dio possessed the world, which is one of the strongest stands in the series. Dio was a malevolent individual, and for him, killing a person was as simple as squashing an insect. He also managed to kill several main characters, including Jonathan Joestar, Joseph Joestar, Kane, etc. 5. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Doflamingo formerly served as a Shichibuke, who worked under the world government in One Piece. He took over the country of Dressrosa from King Riku and ruled for years. Doflamingo is a talented fighter, who could use all three types of Haki. Furthermore, he had also awakened his devil fruit. When it comes to personality, Doflamingo is a ruthless pirate, who had no qualms about killing his father and his younger brother. 4. Askeladd. Askeladd was one of the stars of Vinland Saga's first season. He was responsible for murdering Thors, one of the greatest known fighters in the series. Askeladd was a very calculating individual, who planned his every move. He was so captivating that Thorfinn was mesmerized by him, and at one point, he started to idolize him. His character peaked towards the end of the first season, where he feigned madness and lopped off the king's head. 2. Sosuke Aizen. Sosuke Aizen is one of the most recognizable faces in the anime community. The antagonist from Bleach was responsible for causing huge chaos. He was originally the captain of the 5th Division, but he later betrayed the Soul Society. Very few villains boast of the same intellect as Aizen, who is a master tactician. Aizen's intelligence allowed him to beat many opponents without even trying. With his Kyoka Suigetsu, Aizen could control all 5 senses. 1. Vicious. Vicious is the antagonist of Cowboy Bebop, one of the best anime from the 90s. He rebelled against the Red Dragon Syndicate and eventually became its leader. Vicious had a lot of fighting experience as he was a veteran of the Titan War. In comparison to Spike, Vicious was a cold-blooded killer who had no regard for the lives of others. He thrived in chaos, and he ensured that it would never end. If Spike had not killed Vicious, there is no telling what kind of havoc he would have wreaked.
Hello, Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future content, comment and let me know. I know many are not comfortable with AI art. But, I am saving to gather supplies to delve into other art styles. It will take time. But, I am hoping to get into resin, woodworking, and metalworking. All I ask, please enjoy my videos.